Welcome to Rock Your Talk. I'm your host, Leisa Reid. Looking forward to our episode today. We've got Jackie Lapin. Welcome, Jackie. How are you?
I'm delighted to be here, Leisa. It's always
So
fun to be in
excited.
your presence.
So excited to have her here. She's here from SpeakerTunity. She's going to share some really cool tips with us. Before we get started into our show, I want to make sure you're aware of some other free gifts that we have available for you. First of all, if you are a speaker and you're looking to get booked more, not only get to hear some tips from Jackie, but you can go to GetSpeakingGigsNow.com and get 5 top tips to get more speaking gigs. Also, if you are more looking for some personal development support, like, gosh, you know exactly what to do, but you're not doing it, and you realize that maybe some thoughts that you're having aren't really serving you right now, you can go to productivelearning.com/gift. And at productivelearning.com/gift, you'll find a course available to you called New Thinking for New Actions. And that will take you through a process where you actually start to really dive in and see, like, well, if you really wanted to have new actions, new results, you would also need to have new thoughts and new thinking. So it takes you through a really beautiful process to get you on the other side of that. That's at productivelearning.com/gift or GetSpeakingGigsNow.com for your speaker tips. So let's get into today's episode with Jackie. And Jackie, of all people who knows about speakers and founder of SpeakerTunity, has lots of tips for us. But Jackie, tell us a little bit about you before you share your beautiful pearls of wisdom.
Well, my mission in life is to help people get booked more often in more places so they can change more lives and get to revenue faster. And I do that through 2 different ways. One is called my Conscious Media Relations Company, where I do radio podcast tours and introduce people to 9,000 radio shows and podcasts at the same time. Or SpeakerTunity. And SpeakerTunity is where we provide do-it-yourself tips for people to book themselves. And that includes everything from radio shows to podcasts to live events, virtual events, TEDx's, virtual summits, and virtual networking. We have directories for all of those. And then we have the tools such as speaker one sheets and training programs that make it really easy for you to get booked. And we love to continue adding new resources so that people can get to stages faster and have more impact.
Love it. And I know I refer a lot of my speaker clients to SpeakerTunity because you have done so much of the legwork that speakers tend to not really like. And I don't know how much we were going to get into it today, but in terms of, like, if you're out there researching all the places that you would need to speak and you're trying to find the name and the phone number and the website and the thing and the that and all that admin work, Jackie's company has already made that super easy for you.
Well, and even on a regionalized basis, lots of them gone virtual, but you want to be getting booked in your own hometown because that's the easy in, and people will want you because you're local. And we've identified up to 1,800 speaker leads in any one market. And we have, by the end of this first quarter, we'll have 60 different markets done between you all over US and Canada.
Yeah, super powerful. And it just takes that headache out of the mess for speakers, and really then you could just get right on either the phone or the email or the Zoom call to connect with those key decision makers. I love that. So I know you have 3 tips for us today, Jackie. Tell us, what are your tips on before I start the first one?
They are all on ways to increase your ability to get booked.
And it's like everywhere, like get booked everywhere, right?
That's right.
I love that. All right, what's your first tip for us?
So the first one is, when you pitch yourself, it's not about you. It's not about your credentials. It is all about the audience. What's in it for me? So when you are writing your materials, your proposal, your speaker one sheets, anything else, you need to identify for the speaker booker what is going to be the outcome for the audience, what's going to change their lives, what's going to prevent them from staying up nights worrying about some problem or concern that they have. If you are very clear on that in all of your materials, that will be what puts you a leg up to getting booked in any of your speaking opportunities.
I love that tip, and I will follow you all the way down the road on that one because, man, oh man, I also am a host of OC Speakers Network, so I am one of those people who gets asked for people to speak, and it is such a big difference as a host to be presented with the opportunity for have someone speak when they care. I can tell they care about the audience and the content and that they're a fit versus if they're just going after it because it's a gig and it's not really a fit and they don't really care. It's like I can see it like a mile away, coming coming down the road.
You're right. And feeling you is a lot of what it's all about. And when the booker is making a decision, they want somebody who they know has already got a plan for their audience. They want to know that you can help them move through something and identify with them. And that really is going to turn the circumstances from somebody who just is going to recite their credentials. Your credentials are important, but they're secondary
Yeah.
to the problem you solve.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you go to the dentist, you don't say, "Well, where's your degree?" I mean, you kind of assume that they've done that. I don't need to see the degree on the wall. I assume that if you've got a dental practice, you probably have your degree. Or like a speaker, like if you're approaching me as a speaker, I assume you know what you're doing to a degree. Like I don't need to see all the courses that you took, but I'm going to listen and pay attention to what materials you're giving, and do I feel and do I sense as a booker, like do I sense that you have your stuff, all those ducks in a row? Are you going to do a good job? What is your second tip, Jackie?
So number 2 is when you are describing your presentation, you want to include 3 to 5 bullet point takeaways. What will the audience learn? It's not just a little description, but when you're really clear on the audience will get this, and this, that really tells the booker where you're going to take them. What's the roadmap and what are the ways that they're going to walk out of that room with enhanced knowledge? When you create that in your description of your presentation, that's really going to significantly impact your ability to get booked. Now, one of the things is you need to do that for not just one, but you really should do that for 3 presentations. Because if you have only one arrow in your quiver, it had better be a bullseye. But if you have 3, you're going to give people a choice. And what may resonate with one booker isn't necessarily going to resonate with another. So you can parse it in different ways, whether that's, to a personal growth audience and a business audience, and it's basically a veiled similar topic, or you can do 2 or 3 completely different topics, or you can do different skill levels. This one's for high level, this one's for low level. You can also do it, one's a keynote, one's a lunch and learn, one's a workshop. So make sure that you have variety so that when somebody is evaluating you, they have choice and they feel they have control over what you're going to bring to the table, as opposed to you saying, this is it, pick me or not. So
I love that idea. I think that's I noticed, so I'm going to also offer just another side of that opinion. And that is when someone's just getting started, I find that people think, oh, I have to have all these talks. And I'm like, well, you need to have one first. At least you have to have one, because then if you haven't, so if you're like a brand new speaker, I think get that one out there, see how many times you can go out and practice it, get your, feet wet, if you will. And then you'll start to, just like if you've written a book, you start to think, oh, now I could do a talk on this. Oh, now I could do a talk on that. So it starts to become authentic. I think sometimes brand new speakers have this pressure to like go from 0 to 1,000, and then they stop and like, I don't have I don't have 3 talks in me. You will have 3 talks in you and more, but it's okay to, I think, at least start with one to get at your very, very beginning. I think you can.
Well, and I also think that in some cases you can do the same talk. You just label it a little differently.
Yeah.
And you language it a little bit differently because the audience is different and you want to make it specific to that audience, but it's basically the same content.
Love it. Yeah, I've done that tons of times, and it depending on what you're talking about, you can easily do that, um, with real estate, in project management, for engineers, for moms, for entrepreneurs, you can use then your examples that will relate to that. Again, going back to your tip number one, Jackie, about like relating to the audience and making sure that it's really relevant to them, uh, is so important. I love that. And I like the different examples you gave of like you could make it a workshop style or a keynote style or a lunch and learn style. So you can still utilize that same content, but just in different formats. So that was a really, really good tip. And then I think you have a third tip too.
I do. So tip number 3 is when you're going to present yourself, a professionally designed speaker one sheet or podcast introductory sheet, if you're looking for podcasts, will significantly improve your ability to get booked because you want to position yourself as an accomplished professional. And that's precisely what these documents will do. It's really important that the speaker booker has confidence in the person that he or she is putting on the stage. And this will make a difference in that arena. It will show him or her that you are seriously in this business and you have positioned and showcased yourself as the pro that you are. So I
I
really think
cannot
that's
agree
essential.
more. Yes. Yes. I call it like having your stake in the ground. Like you say, I speak on this. This is my bio. This is who I am. Here's people who've said I've done an amazing job. Here's how you book me. It takes courage, and it's so funny because the speaker sheet is like that one page, right, or maybe two, sometimes two, in depending on your background. But this one page can cause so much anxiety for people, right? Like because especially for those of us, and I think women tend to fall in this a little more than women just because of how we were raised, but we're not supposed to brag about ourselves or say how great we are, and so to put it all on one sheet about how incredible you are can just that alone create resistance, right?
Well, and I think that's why we created SpeakerTunity sheets,
Yes.
because we wanted to break it down. So
Yeah.
now all you do is you pick your template, pick the colors, and then fill out the form. So you
And
got
then you do it.
350 words to do a bio.
Love it.
The presentations, we tell you what the format should be. And so we really wanted to take the headaches out of it because so many people, like you say, suffer when they go to do it. And it's so
Absolutely.
unnecessary to put that much angst into something that can be so simple.
I like that because then you take the sometimes I have found where there's certain things that I know I'm the bottleneck, like it's me. I'm having the resistance. And in this scenario, because you have that set up, this it's like you're just making it so easy for the speaker to fill it in. Let me take you out of it. All you do is these steps. We're going to handle the rest. Don't worry. And it'll be done. And it's just like, check, done. It's over, and then that's off your plate. I always say like the speaker sheet is kind of a one and done. Obviously, you're going to make adjustments along the way, but compared to prospecting, that is something you're doing all the time. Your speaker sheet, you just need to like get her done, get her done.
Exactly. And the nice thing about this is you could try to do it yourself, or you could go and hire a high level designer. It's going to be expensive. And we're just doing it a hybrid way because we actually get a professional designer, because if it doesn't exactly fit, she's going to move things around and make it fit so that
Yeah,
it'll be well, good.
love that. That's a great tool for people, especially as an entrepreneur. All of a sudden, you're supposed to be good at everything. You're supposed to be good at video editing and social media and graphic design, and you're like, but I'm a life coach, man. Like, what?
Yeah.
And so if you're pulling your hair out with all those little things or admin work, then the SpeakerTunity is just a great feature for you because you can take that headache away and just let someone else who already does it a bunch of times, let them handle it. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I think you have a free gift for us too, right?
I do, Because when you're on stages, you have to make a free offer in many cases, because some might not let you sell from the stage. So you want to have at least 1 or 2 great freebies in your back pocket. But if you think that just doing a free consultation or offering an ebook is the be all and end all, I got news for you. There are so many other ways that you can make a free offer that's compelling. So I've created an ebook called 44 Ways to Seduce Your Next Client from Stage, Podcast, Radio Shows, Virtual Networks, and Virtual Summits. So if you can go over and grab that, it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. So shall I give the link, or you want to put it in the...
I'll put it in the chat. I could put it in the chat too. We can do both ways.
So it's SpeakerTunity.com/seduce. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. And I'll put that in the chat as well. So then that way, if you were driving while you're listening to this or operating some heavy machinery, then you also have that link available to you. Well, thanks for that gift and for practicing what you preach. I love that. Jackie, I have one other question for you, and that is, this does not have anything to do with what we've been talking about so far, but the show's called Rock Your Talk. So I always like to find out what my guest's favorite rock band or rock singer, who would that be for you?
Well, it's actually a pop singer, and it's
okay.
It's Michael Franks, who is a little bit jazz and a little bit pop. And it's old school. It's back some years ago, but I love his music because it has that jazz tinge.
I'm going to have to check it out. If I know any of his songs, I do not know them. But I don't know that I don't know. So I'm so excited. I got to check it out. How cool. How fun. Well, thank you for tuning in, everybody. Remember to subscribe so that you can always get the latest episodes of we always have great guests, just like Jackie, sharing these expert tips. So these are things that you're not just going to find out on the street. We get this insight into this expert information. So I'm very grateful that you were here. And if you have not yet lately been kind to yourself or kind to somebody else, take this opportunity to make that one of your daily habits and do that today. Meanwhile, we'll see you on the next episode.